Adrift on the Ashen seas. Journal Day 5. Arrival at Unity Cove. It had been a few weeks since Voy and Taffy had miraculously survived the plane crash onto that desolate beach in Sector A1, read old Jack's letter and followed his map along the coast. Looking back, it all felt like a strange dream, or a nightmare even, but as their small boat rounded the headland, there it was, Unity Cove. Except it wasn't a cove at all. It was a cave, a deep, sheltered one. The entrance was framed by a massive castle-like structure of reinforced metal. Whoever built it had known what they were doing. Every beam, every bolt spoke of time, precision and purpose. Sentry cannons stood guard, rotating with mechanical grace, emitting low electronic hums that set the air on edge. Red laser lines flickered across the water, scanning their boat in an unsettling rhythm. Voy's grip tightened on his weapon. Taffy's fingers twitched near the trigger. Was this a trap, or had they truly found what Jack had promised? Whatever it was, something powerful and well protected lay within. They guided the boat toward a narrow wooden jetty, far too close to one of the sentry guns for Voy's liking. As they approached, Taffy squinted at some weathered wooden boards nailed to the jetty's posts. Words were carved into them, old but still legible. They exchanged a glance and decided to move closer. They tied the boat up with cautious hands, the ropes creaking softly in the night air. As they stepped onto the jetty, the sentry gun beside them gave a low mechanical hum, a sound that seemed to vibrate in their bones. "Why are we stepping quietly?" Voy muttered under his breath. "It's obvious we're being watched." Taffy shot him a grin, though his eyes stayed wary. "Then we'll die quietly, my friend." "I'm not dying now," Voy said, his voice hardening. "We've got over 300,000 credits in loot here, fine weapons, and enough ammo to level a fortress. If this is the end, I'm going down fighting." They both turned towards the sign ahead, the words half faded but clear enough to read. "Welcome to Unity Cove. Please use a small wooden raft for entry and place your weapons in the chest provided. We are your friends. No weapons will be needed." Voy and Taffy exchanged a look. "Bollocks to that," Voy growled. "I'm keeping my guns." Taffy shrugged, less concerned. "Relax, Voy. If they wanted us dead, that gun would have shredded us already." He nodded towards the buzzing 50 caliber sentry that tracked his every movement with chilling precision. Before Voy could reply, a crackle echoed through the air, a voice over a loudspeaker. "It's all right. We are friendly. Welcome to Unity. If you can tell us how you got here and confirm that you come in peace, we will listen. We're survivors. We live well and safe here. This is one of the many entrances to our thriving community, each guarded to protect us from the undead, pirates and the gangs that roam this land. You are welcome to share in our safety and prosperity, but only if you obey our rules. We must be careful. We must protect what we have built." The speaker fell silent. For a moment, all that filled the air was a gentle lap of water against the jetty and some soft whirring of the sentry gun, like a beast waiting for someone to make the wrong move. Taffy turned to Voy, his eyes sharp with determination. "Okay," he said, "we either go in guns blazing, die, and make this whole journey a waste, or we listen to them." All right, Voy replied, sliding the last ammo clip into the wooden chest. "Let's do this. But what about all that loot?" "Leave it for now," Taffy said firmly. "We'll come back for it. I'm sure it'll be fine." Voy nodded, a mix of resolve and unease in their eyes. "Okay, Taffy, I'm with you. I haven't let you down yet, have I? Though, it's been nice knowing you, mate." Taffy smiled back at Voy, then glanced up at the blinking security camera and shouts, "Okay, we're ready, and we're armed. We found a map made by Red Jack and followed it here. Have you heard of him?" "Yes," a calm, unknown voice replied. "We know Jack. We'll tell you more once we've interviewed you both. Taffy, come aboard the small raft immediately." Taffy's heart skipped a beat. They'd clearly been listening, and they knew both their names. "Voy can wait for now," the voice continued. "We will interview you first. If your story checks out, we'll do the same with Voy. If both accounts match, you'll meet the higher council in the above-ground community. Fresh food, clothing, and a nice surprise awaits." Taffy paddled the makeshift raft past the humming sentry guns, through the narrow shadow cave entrance. He looked back and caught Voy mouthing the word, "Surprise?" his face sceptical and tense. Then Taffy disappeared into the darkness. Voy was left alone, the echo of the raft's paddle fading. Every muscle in Voy tensed, every thought racing. He waited, wondering, worrying, and hoping. He scratched his head. Great, just leave me here alone, with nothing but humming sentry guns and a slightly suspicious echo. Yep, Taffy, that's a solid plan. He glanced at the narrow cave and thought, Taffy's mad. Who even thinks, hey, let's go it alone into a possibly deadly cave armed with absolutely nothing other than hope when there's a mysterious voice talking to us outside? Voy shifted his weight, pretending he wasn't terrified. Okay, breathe. If he comes back with a surprise, I hope it's not the kind that explodes or worse. He watched the darkness swallow Taffy. Yep, he's gone. And here I am, standing like a confused statue, waiting again. Why do I always let him talk me into this shit? The sentry guns hummed ominously, and Voy forced a deep breath, trying to look serious. All right, Voy, play it cool. Maybe he'll come back with that nice surprise. Maybe it Mama's Bear's cake. Yeah, cake would be good. It'd been at least 10 minutes since Taffy entered the cave, and Voy hadn't heard a sound. He wondered, heart pounding, if Taffy was dead, we'd simply abandon him. A flicker of thought struck him. If he tucked his utility belt under his shirt, his pistol would be hidden. He could protect himself, or even rescue Taffy if necessary. But then he remembered Taffy's insistence on following Unity's rules. Just as he reluctantly slid the belt into the wooden chest, a voice crackled over the loudspeaker. You're safe, don't worry, it said. Was that really Taffy? Voy squinted at the speaker, the static making the words hard to trust. Then the voice was gone, and then another voice came on the speaker and said, Okay, Voy, it's your turn. The small raft emerged once again from the cave entrance, this time paddled by a strange figure, dressed in a striped uniform and wearing a mask. The figure carried a gold katana on his back. Voy noticed scars and burn marks that hinted at a violent past. I'm the head guard of Unity, the figure announced. I will take you into the cave. There you will join Taffy and the others, after we interview. Voy's mind raced. Why did Taffy get to go in alone? As if reading his thoughts, the guard added, We think you might be the more trigger-happy companion. We need to keep a closer eye on you, my friend. Relief washed over Voy. He was glad he hadn't brought his last gun in with him. Leaving it in the chest felt suddenly wise. He drifted through the narrow watery cave entrance. The light from the cavern ahead gradually illuminated enormous structures built inside. Voy's jaw dropped. The cavern was magnificent, far beyond anything he could have imagined. Maybe Taffy had been right all along. The guard guided Voy through twisting corridors carved from the cavern's walls, the water dripping from stalactites, echoing like distant whispers. Finally, they arrived at a massive wooden door set into one of the cavern's towering structures. With a gesture, the guard opened it and motioned Voy inside. The room was dimly lit by small fires, but its walls were lined with shelves, cupboards, and hunted animal heads on some plates, some which were glinting gold and silver in the firelight. A table dominated the centre of the room, flanked by 2 chairs. The guard gestured for Voy to sit. Let's begin, the guard said, his voice steady, though an edge of curiosity lingered beneath it. But before we begin, please put these clean clothes on. Voy undressed as the guard looked on through the weird mask he was wearing. The uniform was also striped and fitted well. Voy didn't like it much, but it was clean, warm, and fresh, so it would make do for now. Voy sank into the chair, trying to appear calm, though his mind kept flickering back to Taffy. Where's he now? Was he all right? What would Voy need to say to secure their release back to the surface community, to friendly faces, to some rest, recovery, and, indeed, good food? The interrogation began. How long have you known Taffy? The guard asked, eyes intensely piercing Voy's across the table. Days, Voy answered cautiously. Not before this long sea voyage. So this voyage, the guard pressed. Tell me everything. Were you really out at sea for days, facing storms, pirates, and starvation? Voy nodded, recounting the voyage in broad strokes, careful to include enough detail to seem truthful without revealing anything that could make trouble. The guard's eyes narrowed. And the plane crash, Sector A1. You did well to survive it. Yes, Voy said, remembering the sand, the wreckage, and the chaos. I did. Taffy was there too. Then White Fury, Mama Bear, the Reaper, the guard continued, ticking off names. Were these encounters real? Voy hesitated. Each name brought a memory, each memory a thrill of danger. We met them all, but they were only part of what we faced. And Red Jack Mallory, the guard leaned forward. The map, the abandoned police station. Did you really follow his directions? Claim the loot? Voy's chest tightened. How could he explain without giving away too much? Yes, he said, slowly. We took on the station, and it wasn't that abandoned. It was full of armed gang members, and the undead were crawling all over it. We claimed what we could and got out of there, but Mama Bear told us where the loot was, not Red Jack. You're correct thus far, and I haven't managed to catch you out, Voy. Your story is matching Taffy's. How much loot? The guard pressed. Voy swallowed. Enough to survive for a long time, and plenty enough to pay for provisions. And where is it now? Voy's mind raced. He knew better than to answer directly. It's secured, hidden, he said carefully, letting the vagueness buy him some time. Throughout the interrogation, his thoughts kept drifting. Taffy, was he safe? Was he listening? Could Voy continue to speak to Unity, this guard, and secure their release? Voy longed for a glimpse of friendly faces, a chance to rest, to step out of the shadows for even a moment. But the questions pressed on, relentless and unyielding, and the room seemed to shrink around him. The guard leaned back, expression unreadable. Very well, Voy. We have enough for now. But remember, honesty will be rewarded, and deceit will not. Voy nodded silently, feeling both relief and renewed anxiety. All he could do now was wait and hope that Taffy's presence in the cavern, somewhere out of sight, would make the difference. The guard disappeared for a moment, and Voy's eyes darted around the room. He searched for an escape route, but the labyrinth gunnels of the building offered no clues. Shadows lurked in every corner, and he knew there'd be more guards hidden just out of sight. Then the door creaked open again. The guard returned, a smirk tugging at his lips, and he beckoned Voy to follow. They stepped onto a wide balcony that hung over the cave's deep obsidian pools. Flickering torchlight danced across the massive wooden and metal structures, all painted a blinding white that glimmered like ice under firelight. Voy's heart pounded. Below, the fires seemed endless, and above, the cavern ceiling vanished into darkness. They moved along a concourse and entered another building. A sign announcing processing and changing rooms was nailed to the wall. The guard quipped again about the hidden loot, but Voy remained silent, walking with a calm that hid the chaos inside him. Camera lights blinked at him from every corner. Maybe the higher-ups were watching his every step. The guard led him up a creaking ladder to a heavy metal door. "Do not fret," he said, voice mocking. "This is where Taffy was a little earlier on. Now he's elsewhere, up there and outside, just like you'll be soon enough. It's just a holding room before we take you up." The door swung open, and Voy stepped inside. The room was tiny and cell-like. A single bed, sparse furniture, the air heavy with dust and dread. Then his gaze climbed the wall and froze. Mounted on boards, staring back at him with lifeless eyes, were human heads, just like the hunted animals he'd seen in the previous building. But these were people. Voy murmured, I hope these are your enemies," he whispered, voice trembling, "and not the friends that you meet." The guard's laughter rang out louder, cruel and unrelenting. The room seemed to tilt. Voy tried to take a step back, but his knees buckled. Darkness closed at the edge of his vision. He swayed. He tried to fight it, but it was no use. His world went blank. And in that moment, as his consciousness slipped away, Voy wondered what would become of him. This tale of Fantastic Bear's Scum server might not be over yet. If you've ever heard whispers of Voy, Taffy, or the mysterious souls of Unity Cove, you might want to track them down. Did they ever escape? Are they still alive, lurking in the shadows, or did they vanish with the loot that everybody's been searching for and set up a beach club somewhere down south? Rumours, but who knows for sure? The other rumour is that someone has been plotting revenge. Maybe it's them, maybe it's you. Your next move could lead you straight into the heart of the adventure, fighting side by side with Voy and Taffy, crossing paths with the Reaper maybe, feasting at Mama Bear's kitchen and uncovering the treasure that could make you a fortune. Are you ready to become a Fantastic Bears legend? Come join us at the Fantastic Bears community server today. We have lots of fun in the Scum, lots of great people, mini events, adventures, and stories like this that everybody can interact with. You can be left alone to play Scum, or you can become part of a great team and have lots of fun. Check out our videos, check out the images on the Discord and the website fantasticbears.co.uk. You won't get a better server out there if you're learning Scum, and you won't get a better server out there if you want lots of laughter.